Hi guys, and welcome back to History Hope for You. Today we're going to be doing a bit more on Elizabeth I's government, talking about sort of Parliament and her kind of role within that. So Parliament was kind of only really used by Elizabeth for specific needs, that being taxation, to pass legislation, to give some sort of advice. But it's clear that this wasn't really something that she relied upon very, very much, because she only called 13 sessions in her 44 years on the throne. That's not a lot. However, there was a lot of tension within kind of Parliament. You had a lot of sort of issues over monopolies, what I explained in the last videos, and the kind of idea that someone owns the entire market of like a product, free speech, so that being Parliament's right to sort of debate matters of state and religion. So that was kind of the sort of issue there, was kind of Elizabeth did not want people talking about religion kind of going against her, and also kind of the succession. She didn't want people, asking, are you like when your parents is like, are you talking to any boys yet? Parliament were kind of like Elizabeth's parents in that sense, in the sense they were asking, are you gonna sort out of the succession? Are you gonna find a man? It was a bit strange. And obviously you've got the royal prerogative, and that was kind of one of the ideas that the monarch can choose what is and what isn't allowed to be spoke about. Again, sort of going against free speech. She thought that unrestricted discussion, like access to whatever, was a threat. Obviously, people talking about her getting a husband, or I mean, it's not really their business, is it? So she wasn't very happy with that. MPs sort of really did want free speech, and thought that her marriage and succession, having free speech, and that it was their right as MPs to have that. And she said she thought that it was royal prerogatives. It was her business, and to be fair, it had nothing to do with Parliament. They were just a bit nosy. Monopolies. Exclusive rights granted by the crown to courtiers or favourites to produce or sell specific goods, like Essex's sweet wine, I think it was. And pretty much one of the issues with this is that the person with the monopoly gets absolutely minted, because they can just set the price to whatever they want. Often because of inflation, and also it was kind of corrupt. You can just set the prices to her. So say you've got a best mate, you're like, you know what, mate, I'm gonna give it to you cheaper than my rival across the court, where I'm gonna triple the price. Kind of seen as abuse of royal power. And the golden speech. This was kind of sucking up to everyone in Parliament and the court and whatever, because everyone was kind of annoyed about monopolies. Elizabeth promised to reform the system. After sucking up to everyone, it's been like so nice to know you all. I'm so proud to have known you all, and yes, I acknowledge there are some issues, but don't worry, I'm gonna fix it. She was very good at getting what she wanted. Managing the house, there was also quite a lot of issues. Well, as we'll see, kind of about religion in the house, in both houses. You had management of speakers. Now we have the speaker within the House of Commons within Parliament, and the sort of the monarch kind of influence that. So it would make sense, if she picks someone that is gonna back her up, and make sure that the debates steer toward things she wants to be spoken about. Not if she's got her eyes on any men. And patronage. in the sense that people were only really in the House of Commons, or wanted to keep their position. They could only really do that through patronage from the Queen, and so, you know, if you're just purposely going against the Queen, you're going to lose your influence, you're going to lose your power, and you're probably going to be getting the sack. And yeah, obviously the House of Lords, this is where it's kind of dominated by your nobility and your bishops, just because that's kind of the unwritten rule of it. Might should be written, anyway. Obviously you've got key ministers like Cecil in that, like we spoke about last time. He sat in the Lords and he was a bit like a mole, I guess you could say. He was, you know, just trying to make sure that what needed to be passed and what needed to be mentioned was mentioned. So to manage legislation. Again, with the Commons, again, patronage and giving titles out of it, keeping influence, and yet also just having bishops within the House of Lords in the first place gives the sort of church a reason to not be angry, ensuring that religious settlement was defended. So, I mean, if you've got the House of Lords that is predominantly Puritans, they're going to talk about religion and Puritans, you know, stuff that the Puritans want, you know, but sticking some bishops in there, it's going to be a bit more debatey, not just, yeah, you know, let's just agree with all these guys because, you know, we're all the same religion. And speaking of the Puritans, there's two sort of different debates. This is all about, one of them was about religion. So John Neal speaks that the House of Commons, there was a Puritan choir that was opposing Elizabeth, and obviously because of how a sort of little Parliament was called, it was a struggle for power between the Crown and Parliament. Over Geoffrey Elton, sort of says the opposite. He says that Parliament was effective and cooperative with the Crown, and clashes with specific grievances and not, you know, not battling sort of Elizabeth because they're like against the monarchy, but because they've got like a specific issue. So just a quick summary. Yeah, Elizabeth was good at sort of consolidating power and kind of controlling what people could talk about using royal prerogative, using patronage, and also by implementing sort of people within her government and her kind of like close circle, like Cecil, and also through the use of bishops to kind of keep the debates what she wanted, and also to kind of prevent any overwhelming sort of like people going against her. Again, I mentioned with the whole Puritan thing, sticking some bishops in there, you know, you're not going to have as many people angry. But yeah, I think that's it. I think I've covered everything. But that is it for this one, guys. And I shall see you in the next video.